Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm headed over to the ball field for practice. Not the game, but we talking about practice. And today's practice, I don't know if everybody realizes it. My brothers and stuff of my man Law Nation and West Coast and stuff. West Coast is actually commuting up here. He's got about a 2-hour drive each way to get here. Practice today is not at 11. It's actually at 10. And this practice is modified from what they have been doing because this is the kinder, gentler NFL that after the two first padded practice days, now they go through with a lighter scrimmage. Today's practice starts earlier and will be a shorter one, and this is like a mock game. Okay, we were told, oh, it's going to be a scrimmage on Wednesday, and so I was looking forward to it being a full scrimmage, but actually it's kind of a walkthrough type of a scrimmage, so there won't be the intensity that we had yesterday in practice and stuff, because they're trying to make sure that players don't get injured, and especially, I understand this completely, it's totally different than what we used to do back in the day. For us, the equivalent of this would be, we would run less gassers. Okay, we'd run like 2 gassers and say, okay, hit the locker room, and you'd be like, oh my god. Now it's kind of like they have a shortened practice and so on, and this is part of one of the things that the NFL kind of put in for the players, as far as getting the deal done so they can get 17 game seasons, was less hitting, less practices. We're going to look out for you guys so you don't have to get beat up in practice and stuff. Yeah, well, that's great and all that, but I'm not sure that makes the best conditioned players and athletes and stuff, because to me, it's still crazy you've got 14 padded practices for training camp, and you have 11 during the season, and that's it. And for me, thinking about during the season, you can have a maximum 1 padded practice a week. You are going from 0 to 60 during the week to the games, and at full speed and lack of fundamentals. That's just hard to fathom. So we'll see what we see today, and then probably tomorrow will be a more intense practice than, of course, today. So I'm excited. I'm happy. Yesterday, I kind of got into my feelings a little bit there from practice, and after looking back at some of the clips and things, the offense wasn't quite as bad as it looked. There were some good plays in there. There was a lot of bad ones. And, with practice, you do want to have, you don't want everything perfect in practice. Sometimes you got to understand, you got to go through games where you just don't have it, and you have to find a way to be successful. Now, looking at the team right now, Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones, love him, hate him, whatever, we have him. And Jerry Jones is right about Zeke Elliott being a focal point. And it's not just Zeke. He probably should have said the running game is going to be a focal point. That probably would have been a better way to say it, because ultimately we are going to have to be a balanced team. We are going to have to really start using that 12 personnel. We are going to have to use the tight ends. And I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing, because one of the things you'll notice in the last, say, 10, 12 years, the emergence of tight ends being the big playmakers. A lot of times it's not the teams with the best wide receivers that are winning the Super Bowls. Generally speaking, it's the teams that actually have great tight end play. And if the Cowboys can get something out of Jake Ferguson, if Jake Ferguson can block, and if Jake Ferguson can catch, that is going to help make up for some of the lost dynamic wide receivers, because sometimes you got to, as West coaches say, just be able to run the damn ball. Sometimes you just got to be able to run the damn ball. And if the Cowboys can do that, and I will point back to 2014, where I think Tony Romo was less than 4,000 yards, and we ran the ball with DeMarco Murray for about 1,800. That offense was unstoppable, and that's what you need to have. You can't be too reliant on the run, and you can't be too reliant on the pass. You have got to have some balance, and that's one of the things, unfortunately, we haven't had recently. But you can go back, all of the playoff teams that we've had. You look back to 2007. We had Marion Barber and Julius Jones. Neither of them were a 1,000-yard rusher, but between the two of them, they got a lot of yards. You go back to 2014, of course, DeMarco Murray in that great season. You go back to 2016, Zeke Elliott as a rookie. All of those teams had something in common, and that was they were balanced on the offense. They could run the ball, they could pass the ball, and they could keep teams from being able to zero in and stop just one thing. We ended up having multiple receivers that were catching. And in that 2016 team, you had Dez Bryant, who was way past his prime, who, mind you, would like to come back. He said he'd love to throw the X up again for the Cowboys. I'm surprised that Jerry Jones hasn't fed into that, because that's one of those things that Jerry would be like, oh, yeah, we could definitely get some more publicity on that one, because, with Jerry, it's not necessarily about winning as it is being the focal point of everybody's news. Yeah. But hey, back in California, headed to training camp, and get to see some of my brothers in arms, and bring it out to you guys. Oh, there's Law Nation.